and welcome to the channel. I'd like to present a special Midsummer edition video to you today. I am at the island fortress of Suomenlinna, or Seabori, in the Baltic Sea, and I wanted to talk a little bit about something not related to watchmaking. However, this does have a connection, and we will be talking about history, natural history, topography, and these names that relate to our brand. So why am I here at this island? This fortress was actually the scene of a battle which took place in August of 1855, and this was during the Crimean War. So out in the harbor, we found a Anglo-French fleet which bombarded this island in 1855 during the Crimean War, and they essentially fired 20,000 shells at this fortress. Now, across the other side of the drink, we have the Baltic states, and after that, Ukraine and Crimea. And it was in the Crimean Peninsula where there was another Anglo-French fleet stationed there, and they were sieging the peninsula and indeed the city of Sevastopol, where there was also a fortress. Now, why is this of interest to us? So it's from this other theater of the Crimean War in the Crimean Peninsula, where we have this other Anglo-French flotilla which were besieging the peninsula. And amongst the French troops, I would like to put attention on a particular individual. This individual, as a result of the death of his commander, he took over a battalion of Zouaves. These are special North African fighting formations. And essentially, this individual excelled during the winter siege between 1854 and 1855, and he would become a full colonel as a result. Now, this individual, his name is what is of interest to us. Now, his name was Jean-Baptiste Alexandre Montaudon. Now, this name is a variation of Montandon, and I would like to discuss its significance here, as we do find it interchanged with Montandon, and this is something that I would like to bring your attention to. This is a very interesting etymological development with this name. So I would like to now take you to the topography and natural history portion of our presentation. So regarding the topography question, now under the reign of Napoleon, this is Napoleon I, he ordered a series of cadastres to be performed. These are essentially mapping, a geographical mapping of France, and in the area around the city of Clermont, this is Clermont-Ferrand nowadays, there are a series of volcanic hills, if you like. And these are called puys, and we do find this mapping of France happening, and this would continue. And now there was another in a series of these mapping missions in 1828, which was undertaken by there were several individuals involved in this. One of these was a botanist, and another was a geologist. So we have these two interesting individuals. One is Jean-Baptiste, but this is not Jean-Baptiste Alexandre Montaudon. This is Jean-Baptiste Bouillet, and he was joined by the botanist Henri Lecoq. Now, that individual was quite influential, and indeed he was even quoted in Darwin's most famous work. So we see with whom we're dealing. But they were making these maps of these volcanic hills around the city of Clermont, and then we note that they are referencing one of these puys, and this is already in the document that they published in 1829, and they're referring to this volcanic tuff as the Puy de Montandon. So this is very interesting. We have this name and we wonder where it comes from. Now, this is repeated. This geographical namesake seems to be here for a very long time. We see this in the 1820s, the 30s, all the way until the earliest 20th century. But where does this name come from? Now, there is, they are, of course, suggesting, and we do find this in Chateaubriand's 1836 Voyage à Clermont, where he is referring to this specifically as Puy de Montandon, un temple de Mercure ou de Tutates. So this, he had believed that there was a temple of Mercury, or possibly a temple of this Tutates, and this in Latin would be Mons Tutates, and this is an ancient local deity, which was basically associated with a deity of the people. So Chateaubriand is claiming that this name probably stems from some sort of an ancient temple that was located here, either Mercury or this Tutates, Mons Tutates, which is very fascinating. But back to this Montaudon. Now, so we see this actually being referred to, this very same volcanic hill, in a 1775 map of the area, but here we have this Puy de Montandon. So this seems to be an interchangeable name, because indeed Chateaubriand himself calls it both Montaudon and Montandon. There are a lot of families in the Creuse area and in the area around Limoges which have this Montaudon version of this name, and this may be due to either a historic precedence. This may be a local dialect. It may have been the name, an earlier rendering of the name. And one must remember, when writing is not widely available to all, and you would be precipitated to announce your name, this could often be written incorrectly. So there are many possible factors to why this is the case. But we do see this in this earlier 1775 map of this area. Now, this general that I spoke of, this Montaudon, he's also a quite interesting character who bears this either older or local variation of this name. He would later become an army general, basically general d'armée, or general de division. So, but we find him very well known, and most likely he was one of Napoleon III's top generals. We do see his actions in the defense of Paris and in the country, the defense of France during the 1870 Prussian War, and but he rose to be quite high. But we have this interesting antique version of this name, and when we're looking at the geographical, we don't know how this is related. Is this named actually indeed after a person, this Puy de Montandon or Puy de Montandon, or is this ancient, possibly connected with an antique temple that was located in the area that it is not entirely clear. But this is an interesting fact because it wasn't until the 13th century that surnames began to take precedence, and then when an individual would be from a village, one could name oneself after the village that you were from that village, and therefore you would become clear based on that. However, there is a turn-of-the-century postcard of this part of Clermont, and we see the Puy de Montandon in the background here. And this is from perhaps in the late 1890s to right around the early 1900s, this postcard. But we do see a actual picture, a photograph of the Puy de Montandon in the background, which is very interesting. But I just wanted to share this this geographic feature because it's not entirely clear how it got its name, but it is interesting in that it is sharing its name with a village, and a village which gave this name to a family, and a family which gave this name to a watch. So this is a rare name. We do not see this name except for in very limited application. For example, this village in France, a town in Pennsylvania in the United States also took this name. The rumor was that it was based on a watch which was found in a well. However, they did have very famous local individual by this name who was a Protestant and founder of a local church, or at least an important member within that church. He was one of the founding members, so to say. But I hope this is of a little interest to you, and I just wanted to spend this time to research this name and this geographical feature. I hope it was interesting. Thank you.